This is Greg Troutline with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Adam and Olivia Sarson, owner, Warren Design and Build, to discuss the company's unique reverse engineering and manufacturing capabilities. To start, can you please give an overview, a by-the-numbers look at Warren Design and Build today, using the metrics of your choice?
All right. Hi, Greg. Thanks again for having us today. So Warren Design and Build, we actually started back in 2014 from scratch. We have grown over the last 8 years now to 3 locations, actually 2 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and our main location in Warren, Ohio. We have about 50 employees throughout all locations, and we have about a $10 million sales a year.
So Adam, I understand the company was founded in 2014. So if we can go back to 2014, why did you find Warren Design and Build, and what do you consider to be your company's key qualities or capabilities?
Thanks, Greg. Yes, well, it was a big decision in 2014. I'd had a pretty good career traveling the world with multinational companies doing a variety of different roles. I decided, maybe unwisely, that I was ready to start my own business, and I was looking for approximately 6 months before I left my previous job, which was in the packaging industry. I stumbled across this building through some associates, and I decided, hey, it looks like something I could start without too much risk, and I bought the building. I didn't really know the business I was getting into, and I didn't even have a great plan. What I knew is that I thought I could run a business and I knew I could sell, but it morphed from there in ways that I didn't expect, because I expected to service the automotive industry through Aptiv, or formerly called Delphi. When that didn't work, I had to go to plan B, and I started scrambling, and the scramble ended up being emergency service work. We provide emergency service work for factories all around the Ohio and Pennsylvania area. People were in desperate need, and I was in desperate need for business. And I found that if I answered calls on Saturday mornings, I was getting good business. The biggest thing that's happened, though, over the last 8 years is I built an incredible team. And so by getting that reputation, more people wanted to come and join because we had such a good reputation. It ended up allowing us to grow not only financially, but through great people. And that's the key to our business, because we have a lot of great people.
So my dad said he's been a businessman his entire life. And one day he came and said, I'm ready to be my own boss. This is what I've dreamed of my whole life, and I'm going to do it. And Warren Design and Build happened to be that start. And when he mentioned, it really started from scratch, it really was just a factory with a couple machinists and big equipment and machines. And he went down when it first started and genuinely knocked on every big company's door in the Warren area and said, hey, this is what we can do. This is what we want to do. We're here for you. And it's grown from there ever since. So,
the maritime industry tends to build assets that work around the clock for 30 years or more. And as in most industry, uptime is central to profitability. On older vessels, oftentimes spares and repairs are impossible to source. So how is your company situated to offer a solution when an older system needs to be repaired or replaced quickly?
I stumbled into the emergency service work accidentally, but in order to service emergencies, you need to have great talent. So the great talent I have is I have approximately 18 machinists on staff, maybe 20. I have 4 mechanical engineers, degreed mechanical engineers. I have 1 degreed electrical engineer. I have 2 robotics people. I have 5 millwrights. Millwrights are guys who move and fix factory equipment. So I have tremendous staffing and tremendous talent. And so, for example, we do this for factories right now. And the reason I came on your show was somebody said, hey, but I bet you the maritime industry uses a lot of gears. We bought a gear company 4 months ago. But not only do I make gears, I make shafts, I can make brackets, I can make almost anything. I can repair almost anything. So between my engineers who will reverse engineer parts, reverse engineering means, hey, if you don't have a drawing, you send me the part, even broken, and we will make it. So we'll draw it up, we'll send it back to you, say, is this what you want? Do you want to double check the measurements? Yeah, that's what I want. And then we will build it. And so we've really developed a great situation, because just like boats are old, factories are old. Many of these things have equipment pieces that haven't been built in 40, 50 years. So they can't get the parts. They're coming from France, they're coming from Germany, they're coming from China. It might be a 6-month, 12-month lead time to get any of these parts. That's been our saving grace. We are these guys that just kind of respond to these emergencies, and we're not saying it's free, but we absolutely respond to emergencies.
Just in looking at your website, I really like the tagline. We built the bulk of our business by fixing other people's worst problems and emergencies. And I know you've already covered that to some extent, but since you started the company, can you discuss a case study or two? What do you consider to be the worst problems or emergency that you solved, or simply put, the most engineering problems that you've seen with insight on what your company brought to the project?
We had a company that we worked loosely with coming out of France who sold a multi-million-dollar saw to a local aluminum factory. This saw was a high-speed saw. We'd never seen it before. It was built to cut aluminum billets extremely quickly. When COVID hit, the French couldn't come over to install their own saw, and the customer was getting extremely frustrated. They called me and said, hey, listen, I know you've never seen the saw, and I know you didn't disassemble it at our factory in France. Could you reassemble it for us? It's in multiple boxes around the factory there in Eastern Ohio. So I took 2 of my engineers and 1 of my millwrights, and we looked at the prints and we looked at the boxes, and we said, yeah, we'll do it. So we started looking around, and in 5 months, we had built that saw about a month ahead of schedule. Of course, with their direction, but basically putting together a puzzle, having never seen it before. We get to smaller problems too, because I got a call 2 weeks ago from another factory who had a 20-foot hydraulic cylinder that they didn't know how to install. So a new factory trying to handle a 20-foot hydraulic cylinder is really a frightening operation for guys that probably haven't been trained to do so. They called me at 5:15 and said, we've got a major mess here. We've got all the equipment, but we don't have anybody talented enough to install this 20-foot hydraulic cylinder. I called 2 of my guys, not knowing where they had been, what they were doing. They both responded. We're there within an hour. We had the hydraulic cylinder installed by midnight. The customer just said, hey, you guys are incredible. So those are kind of the examples. We build all kinds of unique machines, and that's what I should add too, is that one of our core business, we keep talking about emergencies, but we're really an industrial automation company. So what we do is we build specific machines for specific applications. It could be a wire twisting machine. It could be a cutting machine. It could be a drilling machine. It could be some form of conveyance or a robotic cell. We do that in general on the big projects for our customers. We fill in the spaces with the emergency work, and they kind of marry together very well. That's how we're able to keep ourselves staffed through the ebbs and flows of workflow. So, we are really an industrial automation company, which allows me to say, hey, I can fix any PLC problems, any electrical problems, hydraulic, because we build machines with those type of capabilities in them.
Most companies in the maritime sector are on a perpetual search for suitable technical talent. But what do you think is important to find and retain the employees that you want?
Yeah, Greg, it's our key issue, key problem, key desires to make sure that we have great people and a great team. It really has taken me 8 years to build this team, and we're still not at an end point. It's hard to keep these people, but we try to build a culture of personal ownership. I have 3 fundamental issues when I hire somebody. I say no drama, no babysitting, and do what you say you're going to do. Those are my 3 rules. And so through that, people build a culture of ownership and ownership of the problems, so that everything doesn't have to come back to me to solve that problem. So we give the authority to help these people solve problems remotely. And then the second thing, of course, is we try to pay them well. We try to stay at the top 10% on our salary levels. I do regular salary reviews. I believe in the Ohio area, our machinists are at the top 5 to 10% anywhere. And so that's top to bottom. Same with our engineers, same with our robotics guys, same with our entire staff. But with that comes responsibility. It's you have to own your job, and you have to own the problem so that we can fix the problems for our customers, fix them expeditiously so that we can get back to fixing another problem. So, it's key. We have great people, but it's been through a culture built on personal ownership of this thing.